My name is Margareth Mollel, and I'm the head of the National Plant Genetic Resources Center, or in other words, you can call me the curator. I apologize because my presentation will not mention a word wood. I'll be mentioning trees and seeds, but you know, without a tree or seed, you won't get a wood, so I don't think it's a big harm. Tanzania, I think we all know that it's very rich in plant genetic resources. It is actually estimated to have more than 10,000 different species. So this makes it to be the most rich countries in Africa with the botanical diversity. But despite of having this rich plant diversity, human activities is really affecting this treasure which we have. Increase in agriculture, building of roads and houses is really creating an alarm on plant genetic resources erosion. So when the government, of course, realized this, in 1987, it started initiative of starting a center which will conserve the plant genetic resources for the present use and also for the future generation. So in 1991, the center, which is called the National Plant Genetic Resources Center, was established in Arusha, and it is located at TPRI. And when Tanzania was thinking like that, other SADC countries also had a similar idea, and they all started this kind of centers. And we were lucky enough, we got sponsorship from the Nordic countries. So we have a regional gene bank in Zambia, whereby we keep our base collection. At the national centers, just keep the collection which you can use for research purposes. Now, the center was established with the objective of promoting the conservation of the plant genetic resources and also promote the sustainable utilization of it, because there's no point of conserving if you don't use it. And at the moment, the center has so far conserved more than 6,000 plant accessions of 120 different species. And at the moment, we have been able to distribute to end users, researchers, breeders, students in the country and even outside the country, more than 100 accessions of what we are conserving. The main activities of the center includes exploration and collection of the germplasm, conservation, documentation, and multiplication, and also distributing these materials to users. The exploration or collection is done sometimes with, it depends on what kind of the collection. It can be done with local scientists, or it can also be done in collaboration with international scientists. Like we had a project with Millennium Seed Bank, which is in Kew, which has really helped Tanzania to collect a number of plant species, wild herbs, shrubs, trees, seeds with economic value. And this is just one of the plants which was collected during this project. Locally, we visit farmers. We normally visit them, we prefer visiting them in the fields, but sometimes we go late, so we visit them in their stores. Like the pictures here, you can see farmers giving us seeds. The man here with the white hat is showing seeds of watermelon, local varieties which are being dried on the wall of his house. And the other side, you see watermelon and maize. But usually, collection missions are based on priorities, or need, or gap filling, or any other reasons. This year, in January, we thought, it's important to collect something from Mount Kilimanjaro because this mountain, yes, they are being protected, but the plant genetics there is being threatened by people who live around that area. Because of cutting trees, sometimes fire. So we thought it's high time now if we start collecting around Mount Kilimanjaro to make sure that what is there is not disappearing. So there was a collection expedition which was done by one of my colleagues, Mapunda there participated, where they managed to collect 32 accessions of different plant species, herbs, shrubs, small trees. And this is just a small list of what they collected during this expedition. After collecting, of course, we have to conserve. So we normally bring the seeds to the gene bank. We dry the moisture content inside the seeds, because the less the moisture is in the seed, the more it will stay longer when you keep them in the freezers. So on this side, you see that's the dryer. You can't dry using the sun because you will kill the seeds. And the other side is they are freezers. We pack them in aluminum foil packets whereby air and water can't penetrate, and then these seeds can stay for more than 20 years while they're still viable. But remember that not all the seeds, there are these orthodox seeds. Most of the tree seeds are to be conserved maybe in liquid nitrogen and in tissue cultures. These are for the trees of crop species which produce orthodox seeds, which can be stored in very cold temperatures, minus 18 degrees Celsius. And when we go for collection, we don't get a lot of seeds. So we have to come back to the center and do the multiplication to get enough seeds. And also we do characterization so that when you distribute the seed to the end users, she will have an accompanying information with the packet of seeds to start with. And we also document whatever we collect, because there's a lot of information when doing collection, because we also ask about the indigenous knowledge from farmers. They know much than we think. So we document all the information. So when you take a seed, you'll have a lot of information before doing further research work. At the gene bank, we conserve live material, but we have the national herbarium whereby it conserves voucher specimen. We can call them dead material. It was established in 1979 when the East African herbarium, when the community collapsed. So there was a need to have a national herbarium, so it was established. And of course, the activities are to undertake botanical and facilitate plant-related research, to collect, of course, voucher specimen and preserve, and to advise individuals or institutions who are dealing with plant genetic resources, and to disseminate relevant botanical information where it is needed, and to establish, of course, botanical gardens and so forth. These are just photos of taxonomists during their collection. Here they are looking at the locality, habitat, and frequency of the species. They are pressing the species and drying them, ready to preserve in the herbarium. And here they are doing identification and mounting, and also they are putting digitizing the voucher specimen, so you can find them live and also in the computers. And here they are discussing with different groups of people on the information on the material they are conserving in the herbarium. Some of the species which are conserved at the herbarium, which were collected from Mount Kilimanjaro, as follows. We have this cedar, camphor, podocarpus, and macaranga species. And for the herbs, we have impatient Kilimanjaro, which these are endemic to Kilimanjaro mountain, lobelia and Senecio meyeri. Thank you very much.